Hi everybody, I'm Becky Kaufman and this is Saving Taste. Today we're going to make our first foray into the savory side of things with roast chicken. We're going to be making a lemon rosemary roast chicken, and here we have chicken in a bowl. I think it's pretty funny. So we're going to roast it. Roasting is one of the most low-fat and healthy ways to cook a chicken, and everybody's had their mother's roast chicken. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But what we're going to make today is almost an ideal recipe. All you have to do is prep it, stick it in the oven, and take it out. No basting needed, and you don't have to fight with it. Okay, so here we are at our sink. There's a few things you need to do to your chicken before you put anything on it. First thing you do is you have to fish out the giblets. That's the heart and the liver, and kind of gross. I don't like to eat it, but that's stuck in the cavity, so you want to take it out. Next thing you want to do is wash your bird off. It has all kinds of juices and stuff on it from being in a package. So just wash it off. It doesn't have to be perfect. And plop it in your roasting pan. Make sure you get the breast side up. So once you have it in the pan, tuck the wings under. You don't want them to burn, and this way the tips of them aren't going to burn. And what I have here is just a short length of butcher's twine. You want butcher's twine so it doesn't melt or anything weird happen to it in the oven. What you're going to do is you're going to tie the legs together. I know it's a little S&M for chicken, but it really does help and keeps things from being burnt. So once these are tied up, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to cut it off later. I'm going to wash my hands, because you always have to wash your hands after raw chicken. Nobody wants salmonella. And then I'm going to finish prepping it. So I'm all washed up along with our chicken, and it's still a little damp, so just use some paper towels and pat it dry. If your chicken's too wet, it's going to be slimy, and our butter, which we're about to put on, isn't going to stick to it. So this one looks pretty good. Check that. And I want to show you how to cut up some rosemary. Rosemary is a woody herb. It has a woody stem versus leafy herbs like basil. And it's really easy to work with, and it has so much flavor. And I've got a couple sprigs here. What you want to do is just hold it by the top and pull down with your fingers. That way you're going to have a woody stem that you don't want to eat anyway. And the rest of it, you're going to have nice, friendly rosemary. So we're just going to cut it up. You want it kind of fine. You don't want to have a big chunk of rosemary sitting on top of your bird. And you do want it to pervade the entire flavor of the entire chicken. So, just give me a sec. Alright, so our rosemary looks good. We're just going to scooch it over, and we're going to zest a couple lemons. This is a microplane grater. I've talked about it before, but it's just a very fine, sharp grater, and it's ideal for any kind of citrus zest. So you just want to zest this down. Makes pretty short work of it. And don't get any of the white part, the pip, because that tastes kind of disgusting because it's so bitter. And you just want the nice yellow part, and you can smell the oil coming off of the lemons as you do this. So I have a very big lemon and a very little lemon here. You want to use about 2 lemons. And we're going to zest both of them, and then you're going to slice them up. The funny thing about citrus is that most of the flavor isn't in the juice. We're not going to juice these lemons at all. We're just going to use the zest, and then just put them in there for good measure. But they really do help to flavor the whole bird. So I'm not quite done with these. You don't want to waste this stuff. It really does taste good. Alright, so this is about it for our lemons. And I'm going to tap out my microplane. It tends to stick to the bottom. So we're going to cut up our lemons. Just nice fat slices. We're not going to eat these. You actually can. They turn really sweet in the oven. And I usually eat them once I'm finished roasting. Most people don't like to, but I like sour things. So these are going to get stuck in the cavity of our bird. Just shove them in there. The bird doesn't mind. You can be rough with it. So once these all go in, we're going to rub down the outside of the bird with butter. We've got about 3 tablespoons of butter here, and it's at room temperature. If it's too cold, you won't be able to rub it in at all. If it's liquefied, you know what's going to happen. So this just gets rubbed on, and it's going to help the bird brown up really nicely in the oven. And it's going to help create like a little gravy with all the roasting juices. So we've got our bird all greased up, and I don't want to wash my hands just yet because I'm going to touch the chicken again, but I am kind of covered with butter. And as good as butter tastes, it is a little gross. So our rosemary is just going to get sprinkled on. Be liberal with it. If it burns in the oven, you can just scrape it off. You're probably not going to eat the skin anyway, but it's going to go all the way through the chicken, just with that really lovely rosemary flavor. We've got our lemon zest. That gets sprinkled on too. This thing smells good before it even goes in the oven, and it'll just perfume the entire house. This is very homey and very welcoming, having a bird in the oven. So our bird looks good. We don't have anything left to do to it. You just want to put a little water in the bottom of the pan. It's going to help create a little steam and keep it from going too dry. Just want to make sure it goes all the way around. So we've got our water in, and the last thing we want to do is salt and pepper it. One of the things that separates amateur cooks from professional cooks is that they salt and pepper everything. And be generous with the salt. This is a chicken that will easily feed 6 people, even up to 8. So make sure salt and pepper liberally. All right, and into the oven it goes. So it's been an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm pretty sure our bird is done. Be careful taking it out of the oven. It is a 10-pound bird, and you don't want to drop it on yourself. So there's a couple ways to tell if your chicken is done, and it is important that it's done all the way through so you don't get sick. You can put in a meat thermometer right here, you stick it into the thigh and don't hit the bone, and it should read 165 degrees, the way I like to do it. You can cut it right here, right at the leg joint, and the juices should run out clear. If they're still a little pink, then you have to put it back in. But ours looks good, and I'm going to take it out and put it on our serving platter and let it rest. When you have any kind of roasted meat, your Sunday roast or your turkey or chicken, you want to let it rest, because if you cut right into it, all the juices are going to run out instead of staying in. So this is our beautiful bird, and thank you for watching Saving Taste, and remember, if it doesn't taste good, don't eat it.